Salve Vicinus to you. Good morning to you. And of course, it's a pleasant moment joining you this day. Today is Wednesday, May 28th. Wow, we're left with just some 4 more days. Is it up to 4? 3 more days to wrap up with the month of May. Of course, May is slowly but steadily wrapping up, and we're finding it very beautiful with us. Of course, Salve Vicinus is your morning show. It's a wake-up show. It's a breakfast show that comes to you every other day, Mondays through Fridays here on DMR TV. On the program, we give to you lots of inspiration, education, information, and entertainment. A lot is in store for you today. Like every other day on Salve Vicinus, you're going to enjoy the program today. We're going to have regular slots light up for you today. Father Armstrong D will open our slot with the reflection page. We'll have Sister Florence Awambe here to give us a saint of the day, and then we are going to be joined by Franklin Fomokong, who will treat us to the news in English, and then Aloysius Likia will be here to treat us to the newspaper review. And also we would be having some sports on the program today. PG News with Kenjo Man. All of that will constitute the program today. We'll say welcome and thank you very much for joining us. Today is World Menstrual Day. Yes, every 28th of May, that is every year, the world takes a pause to reflect on the significance of paying so much attention on menstrual hygiene. And of course, this year we're going to be celebrating Menstrual Day, World Menstrual Day, and together with some guests here, we're going to talk about the importance of taking care of your menstrual period, of course, or your menstruation, and we're going to find out what it means to cater for menstrual hygiene and all of that. So you're going to stay tuned because we're going to talk about 5 minutes with some guests on health and beauty on that. So thank you very much for joining us, dear viewers. It's going to be a wonderful show you have today. We'll punctuate all of that with some beautiful music. A lot of good music will be yours today. So you don't want to touch your dial because today it's a wonderful day for you. My name is Yannick Funky, and I am very elated to be your host on the program. Very, very happy today, together with Brother Ambrose Tassan, who is manning the broadcasting and transmission. You're rest assured the program is going to be wonderful today. Talking about beauty and wonderful, we're going to have our first wonderful and beautiful music. Brother Tassan has selected for us a beautiful piece of music. That music is going to keep us refreshed as we journey into the first slot of the program, which is our reflection. But before we get the reflection with Father Armstrong, let us have this beautiful piece.
Spirit of God in the clear running waters, blowing to greatness the trees on the hill. Spirit of God in the finger of morning, fill the air, bring it to birth and blow where you live. That lay dying, heard the lament of a long weak poor will. Spirit of God, see that cloud crying, fill the air, bring it to birth and blow where you will. Blow till I give. The breath of the Spirit blowing of God, everyone's heart is lonely, watching and waiting and hungry until Spirit of God, we long that you only fill the earth, bring it to that and blow where you will. Blow till I be, but the breath of the Spirit blowing in me. Blow till I be, but the breath of the Spirit blowing in me. Holy Spirit, we call on you. Come and heal our land. Free us from every disease and blow where you
We want to thank the shepherd, the constitution of different priests in Nigeria. They're singing for us, "Blow in Me, Spirit of God." And so wonderful rendition of that hymn now, Peace, is 218. Yes, hymn 218. Beautiful piece of music there that always touches the soul differently, calling on the Spirit of God to descend and, of course, transform your life in a different way. Thank you very much once again. And with that piece of music, we're going to have the first lot of the day. Yes, Reverend Father Armstrong D is present here to treat us to the reflection page. So join me. Let us be mindful and attentive as we listen to Father Armstrong D on our reflection page.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Today is Wednesday, the 28th of May, 2025. We are within the 6th week of Easter. Our Gospel reading is taken from John. The Lord be with you and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, O Lord. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, I have yet many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. When the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all the truth. For he will not speak on his own authority, but whatever he hears, he will speak, and he will declare to you the things that are to come. He will glorify me, for he will take what is mine and declare it to you. All that the Father has is mine. Therefore, I said that he will take what is mine and declare it to you. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Dear friends in Christ, our first reading today is taken from Acts of the Apostles, chapter 17, verses 15, and verses 22 to chapter 18, verse 1. Paul loses the attention of the Athenians when he mentions the resurrection of Jesus. In the gospel today, taken from John chapter 16 verses 12 to 15, Jesus tells the apostles at the Last Supper that the Holy Spirit will guide them to all truth. Today's first reading shows how shrewd Paul was in adapting the Christian revelation to the thinking and mentality of his hearers. The Greeks, who constituted Paul's audience, were unlike any other people Paul had thus far encountered. They were well educated in literature, mathematics, and above all philosophy. Paul teaches them gently that the existence of God is to be deduced from looking at the world around them. Paul recognized that through the things that God has made, we see him. Here in Athens, Paul tells his hearers that God not only gives existence to the universe and the world, but he also gives life. Their knowledge of God derived from reason is inadequate. Paul reminds them that in God we live and move and have our being. Dear friends in Christ, we need to be committed to Christ and to his message. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father Armstrong D. The take-home message is that we need to be committed in Christ and in his message. We need to be committed. That's just our own obligation. Be committed in Christ and his message, and every other thing that you desire would come unto you. I cannot emphasize more because Father has put it very brief but very deep. And it is with that we would be able to carry on our activities today. Be mindful of the fact that you need to be committed in Christ and in his message. Thank you so much, Father. And of course, hopefully we're going to have you again tomorrow on the Ascension edition of the slot where ends meet. Thank you very much. And of course, dear viewers, if you're just tuning in, you're on to Salve, Vicinus, we're extending special greetings to you. It's a very bright weather here in the Boya municipality today. I cannot vouch that with this morning good weather, we're going to have the day as bright as the morning, because all through this week it's been very bright in the morning, and later in the day we have some downpour. So I cannot vouch that today is going to be all bright. But one thing I can tell you is that you're going to make your day the way you want it to be. In the midst of the difference or the fluctuation in weather, you can always make your day static. I do that. Hopefully you do too. So in the Boya municipality, you can stand right from any strategic point, and you see the mountain as bright and beautiful. You see the savannah looking so bright and greenish. Yes, that's how hospitable and beautiful the town of legendary hospitality is, or the city of legendary hospitality is. Okay, welcome to Boya for those of you just coming in. And if you're watching us, we've just had the reflection. And in such pious mode, we're going to discover who is the saint of today. Who is the church celebrating as the saint of today? And what can we emulate from their lifestyle? That's what we're going to be discovering with Sister Flores Awambeng right about now. So join me. Let us invite Sister Flores Awambeng with the saint of the day.
Good morning, dear brothers and sisters. We thank God for the gift of a new day. Today, the 28th of May, we celebrate the feast of Saint Germanus. Germanus was born in France and was ordained by Saint Agapitus, the bishop of his diocese. And After some time, he was chosen abbot and the administrator of his monastery. Sometime after, he was nominated to be Bishop of Paris by King Chilbert I. But he continued to lead his former austere life. His example and his preaching brought about conversion of many sinners and careless Christians. The king himself abandoned his total absorption in worldly affairs and became a benefactor of the poor and the founder of many religious establishments. Throughout his episcopate, Germanus remained unwavering and fearless in his endeavor to halt civil strife, curb the licentiousness of the nobles, and check the viciousness of the Frankish king. But to no avail. He founded a monastery in Paris, in whose church he was buried after his death. Saint Germanus, ordained priest, after some time became an administrator and continued his life, his austere life. As a priest, he lived a very, very prayerful and austere life. Even after they had made him bishop, he did not change. He carried his work so well in such a way that the king himself abandoned his own wayward life, became a Christian, and then after becoming a Christian, he now dedicated his life to the service of the poor. He became a benefactor, going about helping the poor and then building convents and monasteries, convents for sisters and monasteries for monks. And throughout his episcopate as a bishop, he did not take any nonsense. He fought all the evil things that were in his diocese. He stopped it. All the unchristian practices, he fought against it. But we see how his life, without saying a word, his exemplary life touched the king and made him to change from his pagan way and be baptized a Christian. And after his baptism, he did not stay there. He started acting, doing positive things, use his position to build houses, prayer houses for sisters, monks. Like yesterday we're saying it, our lives must be that we'll be able to touch people, to change for the positive. This is exactly what happened to Saint Germanus. He didn't say a word to the king. The king only saw the way he was living and went and asked, "Can I become a Christian?" "Oh yes, why not?" And when he became a Christian, he set to work. If you have become a Christian, you must act. You must perform. Not to sit down. I've received baptism. I've received First Holy Communion. I've received confirmation. I've finished all my sacraments. And what are you doing about them? What are you doing with them? I'm going to church on Sundays. And after that, what next? Live your faith in a practical manner. Touch lives positively. Set good examples for others to follow. That is what you are called to do. Not to just say, "Oh, I have arrived because I've received all the sacrament." That is just a passageway for you to live a better Christian life. That's it. And it is a must. So, my dear brothers and sisters, don't be giving excuses. Don't give excuses because you will answer. We all will answer. So, leave your faith in trembling and fear. Know that you'll be called to give an account of it. So, it is the way you live your life that other people will see and be able to follow. And we are praying and hope that they will follow through your good example, as Saint Germanus did. Through his prayers, we know they are interceding for us in heaven. We pray God to help us to try in our little way, no matter how small, to always lead people to Christ by the way we live our lives. Thank you for always being there. Have a good day and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, Sister Flores Owambe. We are celebrating Saint Germanus. Yes, it's not a very familiar name, but his works are very familiar. He came out from the ashes of the worldly distractions and all of that to living a saintful life. And of course, the many things Sister has enumerated there, of course, draw our attention to the need of always singling out yourself among the bandwagon, among the multitude. Always identify yourself with one thing, that everyone can live to think about you. And of course, that's what Saint Germanus did. We are celebrating him today. Yes, you need to identify yourself with the legacy. It could be just some small thing, but it significantly touches life and changes society. And of course, we get to celebrate him. So today, we're all called to mind to be sinful in whatever thing we are doing. Let us always touch society differently. Let us touch humanity in a way that we would be remembered, like we're doing with Saint Germanus today. I'm not sure we have so many Germanus out there, but I know we have some Germain. Yes, we are extending special greetings to all those who go by the name Germain, Germanus, all the derivatives of Germanus. We're extending a happy feast day to you. But for you and I who don't have such name, we can at least emulate something from Saint Germanus today. Thank you very much, Sister, and we are grateful. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to have the Ascension Day edition of Saint of the Day. Thank you so much, Sister. And of course, we keep the faith with you. If you're just tuning in, you're on to Salve Vicinus, and it is coming to you live from DMRO TV. We are situated at Boya Station around the Delegation Street here in Boya. And of course, we are seated at the foot of Mount Fako. Very interesting. Always do well to visit us whenever you have the time. And we do share some pleasantries, because here we share the light of hope. We're extending special greetings to those of you watching us from Kutaba in the West region, where we saw the first plane leave after over 20 years, over 40 years. Yes, we say good morning to you. We're also extending special greetings to those of you around Hilltop in the Northwest region. And of course, we say our condolences to the family of the military family, or the paramilitary family. We lost one brave soldier yesterday to the dirty hands of accidents. Yes, Colonel Celestine Gamer, who is the Legion Commander of the Northwest region. The Legion Commander of the Northwest region died in an accident where a truck on breakneck speed had to crush him from behind, and of course we lost him. We are all sending our condolences to the Northwest family, but most especially to the gendarmes over there in the Northwest region who've lost their head, the Legion Commander of the Northwest region. And because of that, and just in the bid of ensuring that there is some safety along our road, the Minister of Transport, that is Masina Ngale Ebibehe, has signed a circular saying from the 3rd of June, that is from next Monday, there would be no driver transporting people from one city to another that will not be identified. Be you clandestine driver, what they call clando, or those who are using the interbus travel agencies, you must be identified. And it says strict measures will be taken to ensure that it is going to be in the bit of that we can curb, we can institute road safety and be able to curb road accidents. How much of that would that pan out or translate to something fruitful? We don't know, but we're hoping that such a measure will come to make our road one step safer and make people's life matter even on the road. All right, that's it. We're going to catch ourselves a breather of music. Remember that still to come, we're going to have English news in English with Brother Franklin Fomukong, who is already here to treat us. We're just waiting for the right time to be able to treat you to the news. But before we have the news, we're going to have a breather of music, some bars of music to be able to inspire us and dance a little. And when we come back, we'll have the news. Let's have this music. When the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be in that number, the number of the saints. Thank you very much, Brother Ambrose, for selecting this piece because it ties with our saint of the day today. Remember, we're celebrating Saint Germanus, and we've just told you that you can all live a saintful life. You can all be in that number. Just do ordinary things extraordinarily. Count yourself differently today and be able to touch humanity differently, be able to touch society in a way that you will be remembered in a saintful way. All right, so if you're just tuning in, this is Salve Vicinus. Hello neighbor, hello to you watching us from across the country and even beyond. Welcome to DMR TV. It is the morning breakfast show. We're very glad that you're watching us this morning. And straight away, we're taking you to the newsroom. Let us discover what is making news in the Diocese of Boya, across Cameroon, and even across the world. It is on our morning newscast called Divine Mercy Infos with Franklin Fomukong. That is up next after this.
Good morning, dear viewers of Divine Mercy Radio Television, and thanks for joining us today this morning for our Divine Mercy Infos news in the English language. We begin with this information coming from the Archdiocese of Bamenda. His Grace Andrew Fuanyankea, Archbishop of Bamenda, has made public the passing into glory of one of his priests, Monsignor Clement Nze. The late Monsignor returned to his maker this May 27, 2025 at about 7:15 a.m. at the Sacred Heart Retirement Home in Gongam in the Archdiocese of Bamenda. Born on 6th July 1931, Monsignor Clement Nze was the third child of Mr. and Mrs. John Nze of Meluf in the Bui Division. He attended Sacred Heart School, Shisong, and later enrolled in St. Joseph College. In 1953, he gained admission into Bigard Memorial Seminary in Enugu, Nigeria, and was ordained a Catholic priest on 8 December 1960 by Bishop Peter Rogan. He and late Christian Cardinal Tumi were the two Cameroonians, alongside three Mihu priests and brothers, who started the St. Thomas Aquinas Major Seminary, Bambui, on 15 September 1973. Being a doctorate holder from the University of Munster, West Germany, he proved a solid figure in Catholic education. He served in other parishes and held different responsibilities in the church. His service in the church was rewarded, and he was made Monsignor and Papal Chaplain by Pope Benedict XVI. Prior to his death yesterday, he had a lucid and clear mind, very active in intellectual engagement. With barely a month left for him to turn 94 years biologically and 7 months to turn 65 years as a priest, the late Monsignor's life was marked by his humility and simplicity, a true example for Catholic priests today to emulate. Onto something else, newly enrolled members of the World Apostolate of Fatima, Diocese of Boya, have been urged to stay spiritually committed, abstain from sin, and pray more. This was during the celebration of their feast day at the diocesan level with their diocesan chaplain, Reverend Father Victor Ndifozu. The event took place at St. Anthony of Padua's Parish, Boya Town, on Saturday, May 24th, 2025. Details with our reporter Nadesh Nechungme.
A joyful and spiritual day at the St. Anthony of Padua Parish, Boya Town, as members of the World Apostolate of Fatima, also known as the Blue Amin, gathered with their diocesan chaplain, Reverend Father Victor Ndifozu, Reverend Father Akakletus, and Father Mokanje, to mark the celebration of their diocesan level feast day of Our Lady of Fatima. The celebration began with a Holy Mass where about 50 new members were officially enrolled into the group. These members had completed a month-long training and received their scapulars, which is a symbol of their dedication and commitment.
I be very happy for the big day for today wey don happen, and I pray say Mama Maria go help me for continue for the spread the message, for talk about the scapula and the graces them wey Mama Maria dey bring her upon all the devotees them.
Me I don't practice pray the rosary. I don't see say you get a lot of blessings when you pray the rosary. So my goal now say the benefits I don't get them for praying the rosary. You know, only being about me. I will help 2 other members that they can join so that at least together we will help, because they say more hands them. When 2 or more people they do something, it will be more lighter, because me one and if do all the day. I don't join the other team and I will work with them.
I am going to pray very hard, improve my prayers so that the group can go very high, and pray that more members should continue coming to the group.
Members carried the statue of the Virgin Mary from Independence Square to the church premises, showing their deep love and respect for her. Maxeline Gua, the National Secretary of the Apostolate, explains the different activities that were held during the event.
We don't enroll, I think from the number we will say maybe over 40, and the attendance for this enrollment, it be so encouraging. And we will also, if we follow up the mass, you see, and so we celebrate mass with a lot of joy for our hearts. Let's get with celebration, with procession, with the process of starting from Mama Maria, for showing for the world, say, now we model this, now person will life, we will struggle as much as possible for imitate virtues, and also for spread a message. The message will be come out for heaven. Jesus he came down for Portugal from 1917 for 3 shepherds picking them, and he give them the message for pray rosaria every day, the message for pray for the conversion of sinners, and also the message for pray for peace.
Present was the Monya Dineri chaplain, Reverend Father Aka Cletus Nkeng, who urged the newly enrolled members to stay spiritually committed, abstain from sin, and remain prayerful.
Upward to the teachings of Mary, especially for the scapula. Scapula gave instructions and one of the instructions I say we must prayer all time, and then more abstain from sin. Mama Maria cried within her sin. Me they not sin, me they abstain from sin, especially sin of the flesh. I made a prayer for the conversion of sinners. So as the newly elected escorts and they were being installed today, we try to tell them, say, me they not lot over people, they may they be now work people the way, they go direct people them. Sometimes people they go fail, they may they use love as Mama Maria be instructed, but they can lead people them for go before.
At the end of the celebration, the members gathered at the parish hall for a share meal, symbolizing love, unity, and a renewed commitment to advancing the mission of the apostolate.
We stay with the Blue Army Apostolate. A new executive body has been elected to handle the affairs of the World Apostolate of Fatima Munya Dineri, with a call for all leaders to be servant leaders, peaceful and loving. Members of the Blue Army Munya Dineri converged on St. Ignatius of Loyola Mission Station, Wonya Mavio, to pray God guide them select the right leaders. Sunday, May 25, 2025 also saw cadets of that Dineri join the World Apostolate of Fatima to pray, hold their general meeting, as well as send forth members of the Maya 14 branch who have now joined the newly created Mutengene Dineri. Details with Sama Eileen.
At St. Ignatius of Loyola Catholic Church, Wonyamavio, the Christian community here joined members of World Apostolate of Fatima, WAF Munya Dineri, to pray God for guidance as they elect a new executive. Reverend Father Aka Cletus, chaplain of WAF Munya Dineri, officiated Mass. During his homily, he challenged members of the prayer group affiliated to Our Lady of Fatima to choose 7 leaders who are peaceful and loving. Avoid tribalism while encouraging those who will be chosen as leaders to run the affairs of the Blue Army in the Dineri with diligence and dedication, stand up to the responsibility and not be afraid.
You must learn to be guided by obedience to Christ, love of His words, and of course, the desire to build the kingdom of God in your apostolate. Because the church is talking about servant leadership or leader servantship. When we say a leader must be a servant, that's why we recall the Pope say servants of the servants of God. Because when they will place you today for lead this community, for lead this group, you don't only command them, you are not commanding them, but you are leading them like a good shepherd leads the sheep to pasture. That the reason that we don't gather here today with all the WAF members them from Munya Dineri.
Tango Magdalene has served WAF as Deanery President for a decade and is ready to hand over the baton of command. She offers words of encouragement and advice to the new leaders.
And to whoever they have to hand this power to, I pray that the person in question should do the same work that I did. You have to be honest, you have to follow up your people so that they do the work of Mama Maria. Following up is done financially, morally, physically, and otherwise. So you don't need a long story, but all this, I have done my best, and I know I've done my best, and I know the person who will take over me will do the best also. And now I am really done care. So Mama Maria is at work. So when you follow all her devotions, you obtain the Sabbathine privilege, which she said that we should do. We must be humble, we must be patient. We have kind love for one another. Yes. It's not all about money. It's in the faith and love you have for your people.
WAF members are in search of leaders who possess specific qualities for the growth of the prayer group.
In this election, we'll be expecting to vote a president and a vice, a secretary and a vice, financial secretary, treasurer, and then promoters. Promoters are the people who do the groundwork of the apostolate, those who go about like soldiers to hunt members and bring. So we are expecting a vibrant ESCO, and what we are expecting from this new deanery is to get members who are readily available, who have the apostolate at heart, and who are ready and willing to give their time, because working as a leader in this apostolate, it requires a lot of sacrifice. You sacrifice your time, you sacrifice your know-how, you sacrifice your financial resources to make sure that Mother Mary is known. In the Catholic Church in particular, if you look at prayer and action groups, many people run away from prayer. And we have conditions that we attach, like the condition of wearing the scapula. It has certain conditions that when people come and hear, they will run away from it. So it's a bit challenging. It requires you to have faith. It requires you to be spiritually strong.
The cadets of Mary Munye Deanery also gathered here to hold a general meeting and send forth members under Mile 14 branch who have been transferred to the new Mutengene Deanery recently created by the Chief Shepherd.
We are here at St. Ignatius Mission Station to coordinate our general meeting as the cadets of the deanery. This happens 3 times in 1 year, and at this point of time is the turn of Mile 18, the St. Ignatius Mission Station. And it's also a way for us doing a send-off of one of our beloved parish, St. Jude Parish, Mile 14, which they are now joining the Mutengene Deanery.
After Mass, the elections were held in the church premise of St. Ignatius of Loyola, where Bonjo Pascaline was elected president, Ebue Pauline, her vice, and Elad Marjorie, Secretary General of World Apostolate of Fatima, Munya Deanery.
Let's take you to this story in Europe. Members of the Catholic Women's Association gathered over the weekend at Wuppertal in Germany for their convention. The convention was intended to strengthen the bond of unity between the Catholic mothers and chart a way forward for the growth of the association. Details and more in the following report with Njud Mbaku.
Women gathered under the theme Pilgrims of Hope, trying to grow spiritually and intellectually. The mothers of the Catholic Women Association from all over Europe and the United Kingdom kept their appointment at Wuppertal in Germany for their convention. It was 3 days of experience, learning, prayers and encounter. Talking with their leader, Abolo Susan, she talks of her experience at this time.
Honestly, I would like to tell everybody that it was come and see. All women, mothers came from the UK, mothers came from Belgium, mothers came from France. It was wonderful. We had a wonderful time.
The mothers also received talks from priests and invited experts on various topics related to their growth and well-being, after which they had group workshops to discuss and present points derived from the previous presentations.
We don't meet new people, meet new priests. We don't show different kind of activities and talents to one another. and we be glad say we go do am again this time for England, and it will be for the town where we call and say Leicester. So maybe therefore Vupetaye they go can join us.
An election of a coordinator for the next CWA European Convention was smoothly conducted as well, a vote of confidence on their new leaders as dancing and rejoicing equally erupted amongst the women.
God don't make and say, he don't call me, say, I go be the next person where he go coordinate the next one. And I did beg God, I did beg Mommy Maria, say, make he intercede, make he give me that courage.
Other entertaining activities carried out by the mothers, such as fashion parade, dance, drama, and singing, which created a relaxed atmosphere for the mothers and all the branches present to feel the largesse of being part of the convention.
Throughout the day, with peace of soul and with firm conviction that your will governs all.
The convention successfully concluded with a closing mass celebrated by Reverend Father Miranda and Father Alphonse Ekema, during which the mothers animated the liturgy with singing and interesting lectionary procession.
From Europe, we bring you back to Bamenda. Finishing with the written part of the Catholic Religious Studies examination, the board has successfully completed the second phase of the exams, which involves the coding and flap folding of the work scripts of candidates. The exercise, which started over the weekend, ended on Monday, May 26, 2025 at the Secretariat in Bamenda. Bernard Asongne tells us more.
Following the writing of the Catholic Religious Studies examinations for both secondary and high schools of all Catholic colleges found in the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda, which took place on the 2nd and 3rd of May 2025 respectively, the examination board established in the Metropolitan See of Bamenda has completed the second phase, which started on the 24th and ended on the 26th of May 2025, leading to the results of the exams, which include coding and flap folding of work scripts of various candidates.
Now we are at the second phase where we do coding and flap folding. So we have clerical workers here with us. There are about 25 of them who are doing this exercise. We have registers that we have prepared with the names of the students, their candidate numbers, and then with the various schools. We have given codes. So at the moment, these clerical workers are making sure that the scripts, the names on the scripts are matching with the names that are on the register in order to use the respective codes for the candidates.
Mindful of the turbulent and strenuous nature of the job, which involves care, accuracy, great responsibility and confidentiality, the clerical staff involved for the exercise cannot forget the great experience in a hurry.
It has been a great experience for me as I've been able to match the candidates' names with their codes on their scripts. This is a very tedious work. It comes with tediousness at times, but it's a great experience.
My experience during these 3 days of this exercise, I've practiced confidentiality and accuracy because the folding and the flap folding, you have to give codes, code the names. So at least you have to practice some confidentiality and accuracy.
Hoping for nothing but the best of results from the candidates who sat in for the exams, the examination board prepares to embrace with full flesh the third phase, which consists of the evaluation of the various scripts.
So after this coding and flap folding, we are going to move into the third phase, which is the phase for marking, where we'll then meet the examiners to come in. So after this coding, we'll have a break of about a week. Then we'll carry on the marking session, where examiners will come after the first 2 days of marking. These same clerical workers will come again to do the checking, what we call B checking. They will check what the examiners have marked to see to it that everything is in order.
Taking into consideration the various Catholic colleges and the moral values and standards which they uphold, the examination board is careful more than ever to ensure transparency in the results in the coming months as they carry on with such delicate task.
Until something else, graduates of the National School of Local Administration, NASLA, have been challenged to be professionals in effective management of local authorities and provide quality services of decentralization to the population they are called to serve as local administrators. This call was made by the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development, George Elanga Obam, during the graduation ceremony of the 2023-2025 Pioneer Batch of NASLA at Bongo Square, Boya, this Monday 27th, 2025. Magdalene Wondo has details in the following report.
The ceremony saw the graduation of 466 students from cycles A, B, and C, initially admitted in 2023 after 2 years of training in various programs tailored towards facilitating regional and local governance. In attendance were dignitaries like the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development, Governor of the Southwest Region, the Mayor of Boya Municipality, among others. The Minister of Decentralization and Local Development's message to regional and local authorities as they welcome more experts into the field is to enhance a people-centered decentralization.
There is a lot of people who are at the disposition of regional and local authorities. People are very well trained, who have the skills and who are ready. I think it was a long journey, 2 years. Now it is the end of the journey and it is the start of a new one. I urge the local and the regional authorities to take advantage of the fact that they have at their disposal 466 people who can enhance the functioning of regional and local authorities. I'm confident that with them joining the local public service, things are going to move, things are going to change.
This training is a show of professionalism, discipline and mastery of decentralization skills as a point of reference to regional and local authorities in the quest of local development.
I'm under steering management, finance. I've been trained to be a municipal treasurer, an accountant and whatsoever. So we are being trained to possess the skills. The skills where those who are on training in the councils may not possess or may possess but not up to standard. So we are being trained and we are called upon to become exemplary.
NASLA's innovative system approach based on high standard and accountability is laudable as these graduates serve as transformers of regional and local councils. Some graduating students say they are ready to serve the population as local administrators.
We are ready to face the employment. We are trained. We are ready. Me and my mates are able now to manage, to handle regional and local authorities.
I'm very excited, very happy for this ceremony because 2 years in Boya is not a child's play. We remain indebted to God for permitting us to go through this training process for 2 good years.
Worth noting is that the National School of Local Administration is a public institution established to train and improve skills of local administration personnel.
That report wraps up our newscast this morning. For presentation, I'm Franklin Formukong.
Right, welcome, and want to thank in a very special way Franklin Formukong, who has treated us to the news in English, quite enriching there. 466 students graduating from NASLA, that's the National Advanced School for Local Administrators. National Advanced School for Local Administrators, known in its English acronym as NASLA. The graduating, it's another set of graduates that would be filling our councils and different peripheries that would need their services. We're extending special greetings to all of them. We also saw members of the World Apostolate of Fatima, World Apostolate of Fatima, who also been carrying out a lot of very gainful activities from Cameroon and abroad. They've been gainfully occupied. So we want to, in a very special way, thank the members for leading with lots of great examples, especially the leaders. All right. So if you're just tuning in, you're on to Salve Vicinus. It is coming to you live from GMR TV. Yes. And of course, we know tomorrow Christians from across the world would observe the ascension to heaven, body and soul of our Lord Jesus Christ. Tomorrow is Ascension Day. Yes, and it's a public holiday in Cameroon. So Cameroonians will sit for another moment, just praying as well, be observing the Ascension Day. It is a day 40 days after Jesus Christ resurrected. And if you want to remind yourself, on the 20th of April, that was the day we celebrated Easter. Yes, on the 20th of April. So if you want to do your math, then you know tomorrow, Thursday, will be exactly 40 days Jesus Christ resurrected. So he would be ascending into heaven. And so Christians across the world will be celebrating the Ascension Day. All right, so dear viewers, if you're just tuning in, you're on to Salve Vicinus, and it is coming to you live from DMR and we are very excited having you here on panel. Now, I told you that Cameroonians and the world is observing the World Menstrual Day. It is the day that the world takes a pause to look at the importance of menstrual hygiene, and activities this year are centered on the theme menstruation with happiness, or menstrual hygiene with happiness, something like that. I don't know much about it, but I'll have someone who knows so much about it and will be giving us a lot of understanding about the menstrual hygiene day celebrated on the 28th of May every year. We have with us someone who has been who is into gender activism and also into advocacy, gender advocacy and activism, and definitely is present here to treat us to that. We're talking about Tengere Sensiatu. The name sounds so wonderful. I like her to introduce herself. You know, accuracy in journalism is one very important thing. Calling your name wrongly sends a very dangerous signal. So I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good morning. My name is Tengere Sensiatu.
Sensiatu?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's a nice name.
Thank you, sir.
So I love my great-granddaughter to have that name.
Wow.
Yes. All right. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well by the grace of God.
All right. So let's talk about the menstrual hygiene day. Yes. Share with us menstrual hygiene day. What are we talking about when we talk about menstrual hygiene?
Okay, menstrual hygiene day is a day to raise awareness about the importance of menstruation and to fight the stigma and the myth surrounding menstruation, and to also advocate, as we are doing, about the importance of menstruation and the importance of the access to education, particularly for women.
Right, very important. And why do we have it as a day? What is the cause for concern about menstrual hygiene that we even have a day to celebrate it?
Yeah, menstruation is something very important, very, very important in the life of a woman. I don't know why some people see it as maybe a taboo, let me say, but it is a day, it is something we have to be proud of, because due to menstruation, we are able to give birth. It is because we menstruate that we can call ourselves mothers and we can have a population.
A population, very important. In that way, you're saying it can lead to fertility.
Yes.
So those who menstruate are the ones who give birth. So menstruation is part of the production process or reproduction process.
Yes. And let me say, if you're unable to menstruate, it is the chances for you to give birth is very, very low. Very low. Like, let me not say it's impossible, because nothing is impossible in the eyes of God.
No, but you will have to also menstruate. Do we have any person who has ever given birth that did not menstruate? So you will have to, even if you didn't menstruate before and you have to give birth, then you need to menstruate and then you get to give birth. Yes. All right. So what are tell us about this year? What are we celebrating? What is the theme, and how is the celebration done this year?
Normally, the theme every year is a world free of menstruation. Like, that is, menstruation has to be considered. I have to menstruate freely, without any stigma, without any myth, without any criticism. So that is always a theme of every year. Because in today's society, a lot of people or certain cultures and traditions sees menstruation as something really bad, which is not really the case. So we have to raise awareness. We have to tell the people that menstruation is biological and we have to be proud of it.
Right. So, what kind of activities are going to be taking place this day to be able to mainstream menstrual hygiene?
Okay, what we commonly do is we go to schools where we can find young ladies who may be already in the menstruation process and do not know the importance, because the stigma does not end only at the level of the society. It's also found in schools. So we go to schools and we educate the young ladies. We can also assist them by sharing part. Sometimes we organize campaigns and seminars to also educate ladies and also the mothers. You know, not everybody has access to finance to purchase a pad or a reusable pad, so we can assist them with that at times.
Importance. And why is there so much emphasis laid on adolescent girls and teenage girls and all of that? Why so much emphasis is laid on them?
Yeah, because that is a stage where you start menstruating. Like, you're not yet used to the menstruation process, and maybe you might be stigmatized because of what people will see. You might be traumatized because of what people will see. So we go in there, we tell you, you don't have to be traumatized, you don't have to be worried about it. It is something biological, it is something natural, and you have to be proud of it.
Right. That is very interesting, and I want to thank you very much. We're saying this year, they say the theme is Together for a Period-Friendly World.
Yes.
Together for a period-friendly world. What does that mean?
Together for a period-friendly world, that is, we have to be free when menstruating.
Is there somebody holding another person for menstruating?
Sorry.
Why do we emphasize on that? Does somebody prevent another person from menstruating?
No, you don't prevent another person, but the way people react to it.
You mean on the perception?
Yes. Sir.
So you're trying to change perceptions about.
Yeah, let me take a common example. For example, in schools, when a lady stains herself, why maybe lectures, what do people do? They tend to mock at her, and then they are like, you're not clean, forgetting that it is not her will. She's not the one causing it. It's something biological, and then she cannot stop herself from menstruating. No, she cannot do that, and she has to be instead proud of it. So we have to be free. You have to encourage us. If you see a lady that she has stained herself, you have to help her. You as a man, if you have something like a pullover, you help her cover herself.
No, but they themselves are the ones. Women are themselves. They create that arena of stigma around them, because when you start saying it, you shiver, you start hiding yourself from around the Lord where you find yourself, instead of seeking for help. All of that, I think that has to be educated.
Yeah,
so
that's why I first of all mentioned it might be because of culture and because of what they have put into her mind. That is why we also come outside to tell her to feel free.
Yeah.
That is, if she find herself in that situation, she quietly goes and finds a solution. She should not bother about what people will say, because it is not something bad.
Very interesting. And the role of mothers in creating a period-friendly society. I mean, share with us the importance, the role of mothers, because sometimes mothers shy away from talking about things leading to sex education, menstruation, and all of that. They feel that the children are just going to learn it upon themselves.
Actually, that
so
is
what's
why,
the role of mothers?
Yeah, we are also encouraging parents to tell their children before time.
Especially mothers. I don't know if fathers can even
mothers,
say such
even
things.
fathers. I
don't
remember
know how
I used
much
to
fathers
ask
will
money
go
for
to tell
pass to
you.
my father.
Yeah, they only buy, but I don't know what they can tell you about it. But mothers, I think mothers have a great role to play because they live with it, they have experience about it.
Yeah, so we encourage mothers especially to tell their daughters before time, because sometimes the ladies go to school and then they experience it for their first time and they don't even know how to go about it. So to tell their children for the before menstruation, so to prepare their mind for what there is awaiting them, and even during menstruation, how to take care of herself. That is why we don't limit ourselves at the adolescent level. We also go to mothers to educate them, to tell them to also educate their children about the importance of menstruation and menstrual hygiene.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Sasiatu.
Yes, sir.
Semsiatu. All right, you're a journalist in training.
Yes.
I'm happy about that. You just stay with us. Okay. We'll definitely be transiting with you in a moment. But right about now, if you're just tuning in, dear viewers, you're on to Salve Vicinus. It is coming to you live from DMRO TV. And of course, we're operating here at Boya Station, precisely at the Delegation Street. Now, we're done with the news, and then had some health talk about the Menstrual Hygiene Day, which of course is celebrated today, May 28, with some Seattle. We'll definitely be moving over now to a newspaper review, because a lot is being said and a lot is being captured by the papers. We are here, we've been joined by Prince Aloysius Likier, and with him we're going to give a perusal look, a panoramic view of the different headlines making news on the different papers. So that is a press review without any transitional, or I should say we are going to have a transitional imperative, but without any initial discussion with Prince, we're going straight away to our press review with Aloysius Likier. That is yours after this break.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yannick. We'll begin our press review this morning with the Voice newspaper. The Voice newspaper is one of the first English papers that answered present this morning. Now, the Voice newspaper, it carries this story that appears in most of the newspapers, even the French-speaking newspapers today, talking about the letter on Anglophone marginalization had been listened to Christian, and of course, 2013, he wrote this letter an open letter to the President of the Republic, cautioning about a possible Anglophone uprising if the marginalization is not looked into. And of course, we're in 2025, right deep into the Anglophone crisis, and they're saying had Biat listened to that open letter from Christian Ga, will not be where we are today. That is the banner story of the Voice newspaper. Also in this newspaper, Boya D.O. praised Chief Molinge Edward for peace, stride, and community spirit. And of course, that's the chief of Upper Munya. He was praised by the Senior Divisional Officer for Peace. We know Munya is one of those places that has been hardly hit by the Anglophone crisis, and the young chief is preaching peace. Politics also surfaces on the Voice newspaper. Akere Mona takes presidential campaign to Tombe, and he says Tut's New Republic vision. He was in Kupe Manyinguba to preach out his manifesto. Now in Menchum Valley, National Day celebrations marked by massive elite and political party participation, and of course the duo out there was also decorated. That is how we get stories from the Voice newspaper this morning. Another English newspaper, the Horizon newspaper, answered present this morning with very, very interesting stories there. It begins the banner story on Politics 2025 Presidential Akeremona to restore Cameroon's voice in the African Union and takes tumble by storm with condition partners. And of course, you heard on the other papers that he was in Kupe Manigumba preaching out his manifesto, and he has vowed that he will restore the voice of Cameroon in the African Union. Also in this edition of the Horizon newspaper, May 20th, revenue collection, Northwest Customs Sector shines again. The 53rd edition of the National Day celebration keeps popping up on the newspapers. Cameroon shines at 8th International Forum of Intelligent Cities. And if you want to know that, then of course you go to page 4 of the Horizon newspaper. Also in this edition, Universal Mediator demands action against Jean Bebac. And of course, they are calling for irresponsible remarks against the Anglophone journalist. If you want to know more about that, then you need to grab a copy of this paper. And Celestine Bagzigui offers residents on banks of Sanga for opposition single candidate debate. And in this edition, it brings the story of Anglophone crisis. Amber Boys threaten a supermoon in the southwest region. We leave the Horizon newspaper to the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post daily this morning also carry another interesting story. It's talking about the Anglophone crisis, which is popping up in most newspapers today, and talking about the outing of the former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, who the paper says Thabo Mbeki strikes BR. Of course, it's a video that is making rounds. He said that former African head of state offered to help President Paul Biya the advent of the Anglophone crisis, and he turned them down. And of course, he's saying that the crisis has gone out of hand. Had he listened to the former head of state, will not be where we are today. If you want to know more, then of course you get to go to the Guardian Post daily. Also in this edition of the newspaper, after successful road shows in UAE and India, IPA seals for strategic deals, establishes 200 contracts with potential investors. You know, the Prime Minister was out of the country trying to woo in international investors. And of course, this organization was also in the United Arab Emirates and India trying to see how to bring in investors in the country. We have OC rules out reconciliation with dismissed SDF big wins. That was during the 35th anniversary celebration of that party. He rules out any reconciliation with the dismissed SDF big wins who were bringing trouble into the party. And to conclude with the Guardian Post, we have Cameroon trails in digital rights as 2025 elections loom. If you want to know how the train digital rights, then of course you need to grab a copy of that newspaper. Now let's move over to the first French newspaper we will sample today, L'Heure du Sahel newspaper. The L'Heure du Sahel newspaper is a daily French newspaper that pops up every day, and they carry very interesting stories there. That 90 billion francs CFA has been set aside to boost employment in the extreme north. And of course, if you read further in this story, they're trying to see how to create job opportunities for young people, how to support startup businesses there, and see how to promote women involvement in activities that will generate income. Also in this paper of L'Heure du Sahel, it says in Mayo Senaga, Boko Haram activities left 2 people dead. That is what is, of course, is what this paper is telling us this morning. We'll leave L'Heure du Sahel. We'll go to Emergence newspaper, another French newspaper that answered present this morning, is talking about the marginalization of the Anglophones. And of course, he revisits the Christian letter that he wrote, the open letter he wrote to President Paul Biya 12 years ago, and of course is still saying, had President Paul Biya and the government listening to the warnings of Nga Christian, will not be where we are today. And of course, you can get much more from that paper. Let's leave that paper and move to La Voix des Jaunes. La Voix des Jaunes newspaper this morning carries the interesting story of Bébé Matisse, justice at last, and it says that Dagobert Noafo, the perpetrator of the act, the man who killed the 6-year Bebe Matisse out there in Yaoundé is finally going to Kondingi. That is what this paper is saying. And after he appeared in court yesterday, he's been sent to Kondingi. Don't forget that yesterday the papers mentioned that a group of people had to demonstrate in front of the gendarmerie because to them enough was enough with the delayance of the justice. L'Info Asho is another newspaper that we will review this morning. It still carries the same story of Bebe Matisse, and it says that the perpetrator, the assassin of Bebe Matisse, is in Kondingi, and of course it's saying that at last justice has begun. And don't forget that a host of ministers had to pay a visit to late Bebe Matisse home to reconcile with the family. Now, Quotidien Eco Santé is another French newspaper that I'll review this morning. Of course, it is talking about the hygiene and menstruation day that we have a guest talking about today, and he's saying that 1 out of every 4 women lacks access to this menstrual hygiene. And he says it goes further to explain that every day over 300 million women go through menstruation, but in 1 out of every 4 they lack water, they lack sanitation and other aspects that will give them free and of course safe hygiene practices. And you see on the front page of that newspaper, young girls are being educated there. Now this paper, Quotidien Eco Santé, also carries this sad story yesterday, the grave accident at Matop, and says 6 deaths were recorded and scores of people injured, and of course they are receiving treatment out there in the hospital. La Voix du Consommateur is another newspaper that we'll look about this morning. La Voix du Consommateur carries out an investigative story saying that 3,000 bars without toilet, over 3,000 bars are operating, that is drinking spot, they are operating without toilet. And on the front page of the newspaper, I see people after having a nice time in the bars, they have to urinate just around everywhere, and they are calling on the powers that be to try to see how they should prevent this. Also, this paper is talking about the fight against cataract, and it says the prevention and the treatment of cataract are very accessible. If you want to know more, then you grab a copy of La Voix newspaper. And of course, Mr. Yannick, we will end there. Those are what the men and the women of the print have for us this morning. Please don't end on the cover page. Try to go deeper and get much more knowledge. And every morning when you get up, just try to go through the front pages of the newspapers and be informed.
Thank you very much, Aloysius Likier. A very quick look on the different stories making headlines on our papers this morning. Very interesting stories we have there this morning, and of course we'll go straight away to looking at some of them. I think we should start with the last paper you reviewed there. It has some interesting story there. La Voix du Consommateur, it says 3,000 bars in Cameroon. Where did that statistics come from? We have 3,000 bars in Cameroon. We should have more than 3,000 bars in Cameroon.
3,000 are those that don't have toilets.
Yes, and then they say over 3,000 bars don't have toilet. Yeah. All right. How did the statistics generate itself?
It's an organization. If you read,
I want to understand.
You understand French more better as an organization.
I think that we can easily relate to this story because it's a growing normalcy that the hygiene and sanitation of Cameroonians have not been taken so seriously. Yeah. Gone are the days when hygiene and sanitation were left in the hands of the council. I quite remember when the councils can come around to give you penalties, even in your house, if you have not properly treated or incinerated your dirt or your toilet and all of those things. All of that should be history. I don't know if they still have that mandate to do that. And now bars are proliferating across the country. We have bars, virtually every one building seems to have a bar. Yet the hygiene and sanitation of people is not taken seriously. And I knew that people drink to stupor and the next thing they will have to do after drinking is to pass out, is to
Yes.
make water.
Yes.
And they do it virtually anyway. Anywhere they find themselves. They say nature's
calling,
call.
yes.
When nature calls,
The
you cannot do otherwise. And you find people virtually everywhere. What do you think can be done to address this issue? Because it is becoming a serious concern.
Yeah.
What
Now,
can
Mr.
they
Yannick,
do?
the truth is, they can arrest this issue with the beginning of the opening of the bars.
Okay.
Because I believe that each time you want to open a business, you need to register that business. Maybe they need to pass around and check. And if you don't have what it requires for you to operate a bar, beginning with a proper clean toilet, you should not be given the license to operate. But now you know the way the country is. The commerce department will pass, the council department will pass. They might give them one or two things, and then the bar goes operational. And you mentioned, I have one of my friends, the wife is working in the sanitation department in the council, and their duty is to go around to check what you mentioned, even in households. Check if landlord, because there's a department in the council, even if your landlord cannot give you people a proper toilet, you can go there and report. Because there are some people who they see desiccate in open airs, they just put 4 walls without any roof, and you have upstairs houses around, and people can see you doing your stuff. You can go there and report. But when you go there, what happens? Nothing, because the same landlords might go there and some few know to pass, and then it remains the same. So, but hygiene and sanitation begins with you and I. If the authorities that be don't want to call the bars into order, maybe I choose where I want to go and drink. I cannot go to a bar where after drinking, then I'll be looking for Mr. Yannick's car to go and pee on the tire, because tires are suffering. That's the fact. With men, they just look for the nearest car.
Or COVID.
Yes, COVID, and they do it. It's women that they have to go somewhere very far. So long as there's a car there, I can close myself with that car. Your tire is in trouble.
Oh my God.
So I can choose to go to a proper and a clean bar to drink, and of course another when I'm done, because we are talking not about urinating. What if I feel as to excrete and I'm in a bar? Do I need to leave that bar and go right to the house? So bars are supposed to have proper clean toilets, one for the male, one for the female, and maybe urinary where I can easily go and urinate. But now most of them, they don't even have even a small spot. Others you just go behind, they have maybe cement somewhere and make a small hole, and men and women are doing that. You know how women are very, very vulnerable to diseases. You go and stoop where men are also urinating, and sooner or later you are picking disease. So it begins with us. We can first of all decide where to go to, and maybe the council and the authorities should do their job. We don't tell them what to do. They know what they are supposed to do to ensure that all the bars, before operating, before even giving them the license, they should have what it takes to run a bar.
That's very important. I think a word to a wise is sufficient. We need to prioritize on hygiene. Where cholera and all those waterborne diseases emanate from is this poor
hygiene
disposal of waste, especially the excreting waste. Excreting waste is very important. I think that we should take it very seriously, and kudos to La Voix du Consommateur for coming up with that. I think it's going to raise some concerns.
It's the voice of consumers.
The Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of who gives licenses to bars to operate in the councils? I think the Ministry of Decentralization, the Ministry of Territorial Administration. That's the ministry that caters for safety and security of the territory. Should take special note. The bars should, if as much as they are cropping up, they should take precautionary measures so that we can live safer in the society. Now there are many papers have captured this. Bebe Matisse, yes, that's what I want to say. Please, can you just put in any paper that has talked about Bebe Matisse? I think so many papers have talked about it. For once, Mr. Nwafo, I think I should still call him Mr. Nwafo Dagobert. He still married the name to be Mr. Unfortunately, he found himself where he found himself. Please put any newspaper, especially La Voix de Jeune or any other paper there has picked up that story. Bebe Matisse is slowly but sturdily going to be getting justice. So yesterday, Mr. Nwafo Dagobert was presented before the State Council in Yaoundé, who remanded him into custody. And of course, he's been at the 11th district in Guaykeleve, the police district, where a lot of investigations have been carried on But then it raised so much concerns why it's taking so much time for him
Yeah.
to go down there to be remanded. And alas, yesterday was presented before the legal department, the state council, and he was remanded into custody. What do you make of this?
Now it's at least relief to the family and the group of people who yesterday had to go and demonstrate in front of the gendarmerie, because you know this thing happened some weeks back. It's not something that is say he was caught red-handed, flagrant delicto, piercing that young man to death. So it's not something that we say investigation right, left,
Was he
center.
actually caught red-handed piercing that man?
Of course, it happens in front of people,
right?
Because they did not just conjure or suggested that he murdered his child. When he had that difference with the father and all, he went and brought the dagger and then pierced that little child. He was beaten. Don't forget that the population pounced on him. That's why he had to twist the story that when he got up, he said that, okay, cannot even remember killing anybody. So it's not something that we're saying we need rocket science to come and tell us that they are doing investigation. Yeah, maybe they're just trying to see the situations that led to it. But as we mentioned here, maybe last 2 weeks ago, it's all about anger. This goes a long way to show us that, yeah, we might have adrenaline pumping in our system, but if you don't know how to control your anger, you can also be jetted to maybe Boya Central Prison or Kondenge or wherever you find yourself, because just for us to control our anger. Dagobe, I'm sure he's now regretting, because he did not get up that morning wanting to kill somebody, but out of anger that he could not control, he's now going to Kondenge, and then he's a star for the wrong reason, because the whole country knows about him now. Somebody that I never knew, now everybody is talking about him, but for the wrong reasons. So this goes a long way to show us that we need to curb our anger, no matter the situation, no matter what you face. Try to calm down your anger. Always reason before you carry out any action.
All right. Thank you very much. I think that that is fair enough. I think it's fair enough. Mr. Dagobe Nwafo will be gnashing his teeth now and making lots of regret. But it should also serve as some deterrent for us to be able to manage our anger so well. Well, hopefully what happened to Dian Dango, you know Dian Dango, that should be her name. The lady who was killed by her husband in Douala.
Yeah, that the court gave just a very light
gave
sentence.
him 5 years suspended
sentence
and 55,000. And of course, many are hoping that deterrent measures should be served.
Exactly.
You know, justice is one thing that is very painful today. The person who is being accused, you know, who is being judged or sentenced, yes, but then it's very appealing to those who need justice. You know. All right, but faith tells us that we should forgive people. I think that as much as in our bitterness, in our anger, let us forgive him.
That's why he was not killed.
Yes.
That's why he's been handed over to the law.
He was seized from the mob.
Yeah.
Remember, he was seized from the mob, meaning if he was left with
Mr.
another
Yannick,
second,
let me explain something to you. The mob was maybe tempering justice with mercy. See, there are a group of people that when you do something to, when you touch, especially to children and women, you know, angers are flying up there. If that thing happens maybe somewhere in Mutengene also, where you pierce a 6-year-old child and people are around, before they even inform the forces of law and order, they'll carry their cops.
Okay.
So they were maybe tempering justice. I know, yes. They were tempering justice with mercy, yes. But now he was not killed, and we are praying for him. You know, we should be praying for him so that he, of course, find peace, first of all, where he is, and also peace with the family, but the law or justice should take its course. So we forgive him, but he should face the consequences.
Please, we should all forgive him. We should forgive him. I'm sure he's very sorry for the act he's committed. Let us forgive him and give him another chance. Yes, let justice take its course.
Exactly.
Yes, and of course, he should be corrected. You know, the prison is meant to be a correction facility.
Yeah, depending on how the facility is, anyway. You know how our country is.
Yeah. Okay. So, this last story before you take your leave. What is this story that is going around all papers? I don't know if we can have Loju newspaper. I'm sure Loju newspaper carried that story.
Yeah, also even the Voice, I'm sure.
The Voice newspaper. If you can have the Voice newspaper, I'll be happy, Brother Tarzan. what is this story that is making so much headlines since Monday? Every newspaper is publishing.
Even the French newspapers.
Is it a campaign? I mean, we know so many people have been making statements to government about solving the Anglophone crisis. But what is so particular about the statement made by Nga Christian, the publisher of the Guardian Post, that has attracted so many newspapers? I mean, it seems to be some coordinated campaign. But what could be the motivation? No, not this one, not the Guardian Post newspaper. The Voice newspaper. The Voice newspaper. This is yes, that is it. So this is the story that goes across. If you can just be swiping, you have the Loju newspaper also has that story.
Yes,
the same story. If you can have Loju
two French-speaking newspapers have it.
Carried it today, but about 4 carried it yesterday.
Yeah.
On Monday we had a host of others. Brother, can we have a show Loju?
Even Emergence
quotidian newspaper. You can also show us. That is it.
No, that is Eco Santé.
No, that's Eco Santé. Emergence. This is it. This is the same story. And then Loju newspaper surely also has that same story.
Yeah.
Well, not Loju, but I think Mutation newspaper. Mutation newspaper has that same story, and it gets across like that. Go back to Emergence Quotidien, brother. What is particular about this story that seems to get the attention and a very imposing part of the paper, the front page? Almost all the papers are talking about it. They are having it on their front pages about Nga Christian telling Paul Biya 12 years ago that if something is not done about the Anglophone crisis, it's going to deteriorate to an armed conflict, and that is what we're having today. But he's not the only person who has made this statement. So many persons. But what is so particular about his that is attracting all papers like this?
Now, Mr. Yannick, the truth is, you here as a journalist at DMR TV, make use of your platform. Everybody has to make use of the platform. Now, Nga Christian might not be the only person who has maybe called on the president. See Thabo Mbeki there in another paper says the former head of states of Africa, called the president of the republic and proposed that they want to come and help to see how to resolve the Anglophone crisis, and he turned them down. It's just yesterday that we knew that former heads of state wanted to help the Anglophone crisis. But now Nga Christian is the publisher of the Guardian Post, and is making use of his platform. After the celebration of the 53rd edition of the National Day, he mentioned about 20 institutions that Anglophones have never ever been head of those institutions. That is how he started. And then again, he gave another reasons why he believed that Anglophones are being marginalized. And then later on, he brought up the letter that he wrote 12 years ago to President Paul Biya. Now he's sharing it with his brothers in the print world who are also talking about it. But now it's just spilled over of the 53rd edition of the National Day, where they are saying that, okay, we celebrate the 53rd edition of the National Day, but Anglophones are still marginalized. So it's a wake-up call that despite the fact that the Anglophone crisis is dwindling down, we are almost getting normalcy, Anglophones are still marginalized. So he might not be the only person who have mentioned, but just using his platforms. It's like you can just write in a journalist forum and then we pick it and publicize it everywhere. But it's a good thing that they are saying. If there's marginalization, let of course look into it and try to make the country so we see each one as brothers and sisters, not that we think that, okay, I'm second class human being, I'm second class Cameroonian, or I might not be able to occupy any position in the country.
And we know the Anglophone problem, I mean, the way they put it, is a cause for concern.
Exactly.
And I'm sure even the highest court of this country understands the Anglophone problem. Before, we had a few dissenting voices who were against the Anglophone problem, who felt like there wasn't any Anglophone problem. But I'm sure now everyone understands.
Of course, it's on board.
And I am thinking that this emphasis that is being laid by Nga Christian and the coordinated stream of papers would further amplify voices on the need to be able to address the issue. Because
and BBC, I don't know if you have seen that video that BBC had to report extensively on the Anglophone crisis.
Of course, we're having lots of discussions around the plight of Anglophones. You know, procrastination, they say, is a thief of time. If we keep procrastinating things, we're definitely going to have that time when we cannot do it any further. And we know one bad crack on the jar can spill out the beautiful opium from the jar. Yes, that's a Chinese proverb.
Yeah, you spelled like this today.
That's a Chinese proverb.
Okay.
So let us secure the opium
Yeah.
so that we can make some beautiful perfume oil that we can circulate in the country. Okay, it's our nation, and of course we love it so much. That's why we get to talk about issues that can lead to further deterioration or questioning on the integrity of the state, the unity of the state. Thank you so much, Prince.
Thank you, Mr. Yannick.
We're not going to have you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Ferry.
Yeah.
It's it's Ferry. You've had it so much this May. I don't know why.
We thank the head of state.
We thank the head of state. So papers will not publish tomorrow because tomorrow is public holiday.
Exactly.
It's
But I'll be on
Ascension
Friday.
Thursday. So we'll be here on Friday for
Yeah.
the last edition for the month. All right. So see, you have yourself a fruitful Wednesday.
Same to you.
All right. So this is Salve Vicinus. We just had the papers there with Prince Aloysius Likier. Hopefully we're going to have him on Friday with the last edition for the month. Now we're going to journey into sports, into the world of sports, and John Philip Wanla is here to tell us what is making news in the world of sport, and definitely we're going to learn quite a lot. I am sure the technician is going to be looking into the camera of John Philip. Oh, is he ready? All right, so of course we're going to look at the different aspects of sport this morning and learn quite a lot from sport. We understand that Elite One Championship came to an end over the weekend with Column of Jar clinching the coveted trophy, but then there are lots of other things that have been making news even around the professional league. I'm sure we're going to have all of that in a moment with John Philip Wanla. Also, the Indomitable Lions will be playing against a team. I don't know the team in Marrakesh, Morocco on the 6th of June. So head coach Mark Breeze has come out with his list of players to do that. I don't know so much. I think John Philip does, and he will be doing some justice to it. Jepe, welcome.
Thank you very much, Yannick, and thank you, dear viewers of DMR TV and the morning show.
All right. Of course, without further ado, do you want to give us your headlines?
Yes,
Yannick,
yeah? Today we'll be talking a little bit about the communique that came from the Fekafoot Central Office in Yaoundé, in Chinga there, postponing the draws for the Cameroon Cup. And we are going to see the Elite 2 teams that have qualified for the down plays and up plays for the qualification to the first division, and then those who want to maintain for the down plays. And then we are going to see some, I can say, controversial information or controversy behind Fekafoot. Some companies that are holding Fekafoot responsible for not paying some of their dues, and Fekafoot too, on his part, holding some clubs that they have not met up to certain expectations. Yeah, without much ado, Yannick, that is just what we'll be talking about this morning. So we'd just like to have the communique that was that came out from the...
So just to tell the viewers that we're going to have sports now with John Philip Wanla. So let's pay attention and grab as much as we can in the world of sports. Over to you, John.
Thank you, Yannick. Okay, the communique that came out from Fekafoot, this communique stipulated that the draws for the Cameroon Cup, which was stipulated to take place on Tuesday the 27th of May, have been postponed to May 30th, 2025. This was signed by the Secretary General of the Fekafoot Office, Mr. Mandong Isaac. Then we'll move up to the Cameroon Cup qualifications. We know certain teams are going to represent the Southwest region in the Cameroon Cup qualifications. We have Talented FC, we have Ishosha. If our brother brings the next slide, we are going to see we have Isles of Hope, that's Ishosha. We have Victoria United, we have Fako United, we have Talented FC, and we have Options SA. These are the clubs from the Southwest region that will be representing the region in the Cameroon Cup matches that are going to take place in Yaoundé. So in the Elite 2 Championship, we noticed the Elite 2 Championship too has gone down, has run down to its to the end, and 8 clubs will be playing the playoffs for the championship. That is, the playoffs are games that are going to be played to see who will qualify to climb up to the first division. And on the screen there we have the down playoffs, but the other one is the up playoffs that has teams like Edging Sport, Bavmen United, TKC, Aigle Royal, Avion, Unisport de Bafang, Foncha Street, and Atlantic de Kribi. These teams are going to be struggling to compete among themselves to see which three are going to climb up to the first division. So for the other teams, the play down teams, there are 7 teams for the play down, and these teams are Ishosha, AS FAP, Union Dabombang, Fovu of Baham, Renaissance de Ngumu, Racing de Bafusam, and Yafut. These teams are playing. They are going to be playing the down playoffs to see who maintains or who is going to drop. So that is that about the Elite 2 Championship. And then for the Elite 1 Championship, according to the stats there, we noticed that Colomb, like you said, Yannick, are the champions for the 2024-2025 football season, and they have also qualified to participate in the 2025-2026 CAF Champions League. And the teams below, the underdogs, we have the Bambutus of Buddha, Union de Douala, and Yosa, who are going to face relegation so far. Okay, that notwithstanding, we see in the Fekafut office has severe problems now, Yannick, like we said. Recently, companies like Medi Voyage and the Marwan Voyage, these are traveling companies that are claiming Fekafut 987 million for air tickets that Cameroon national teams, both men and women in several disciplines, have been traveling out for competitions and coming. So this legal action was taken against Fekafut because they promised to pay an advancement sometime in March, but they failed to do that. But these travel agencies had already informed Fekafut and asked, seeking knowledge why they have not met up to their agreements. So sometime in March, Fekafut said they were going to pay, even before March, at least an advancement of 450 million, but so far they have not paid that money. So it was seemingly scandalous because the financial office at the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education has claimed to have paid this money for air ticket, for these trips for national team players to Fekafut. So they are surprised that up till now Fekafut has not paid those sums of money. So we hope they are going to see into it. And we noticed that there were some individuals too and companies who are claiming Fekafut for not meeting up or for not paying their dues. Like we remember the Cameroon coach Tony Consensao, who handled the national team from 2019 to 2022. Tony Consensao is still claiming the national team of 1,049 million, which they owe to him, which they have not paid. Also, Rigobert Song, on his part, is claiming Fekafut of 198 million. And then referees, Yannick, you can imagine that. You remember we had this problem of regional league referees where we always notice that they are being corrupted by maybe team presidents, like issues that happened in Opopo in Victoria United recently. Referees are being owed 300 million francs CFA by Fekafut. So you can see now why sometimes this magu goes on, as I can say. And then we have teams like Bambutus FC. Bambutus FC is claiming Fekafut 116 million francs CFA. Aigle Royal de Mungo is claiming Fekafut 100 million francs CFA. Canon de Yaoundé is claiming Fekafut 41 million, and Fauve Azul is also claiming Fekafut 21 million francs CFA. So you see, Fecafoot is really indebted. Even though that notwithstanding, Fecafoot's homologation and disciplinary committee held sometime during the season and at the end to analyze how the leagues have gone through, and some Elite 1 and 2 clubs were being absent for some matches without valid justifications. So Fecafoot the disciplinary committee had to take some measures which they have to meet up with. Like we see this club, Jiko FC of Focho, it's an Elite 1, it's an Elite 2 side. It has been relegated, though they have been relegated, and and they lost a forfeiture game against Aigle de Menoir and IS FAP. This club president, Focho Joseph, has been fined 110 million francs CFA and banned from any club management affiliated to Fecafoot. Then we go to Aigle Royal of Mungo. This is Aigle of Mungo. They lost by forfeiture against Dinamo. Thus, the disciplinary committee deducted 3 points from them, and they have to pay a fine of 1 million francs CFA. Yosa, on her part, even though Yosa has gone down to relegation, but they were deducted 3 points too, because they failed to show up at their game against Gazelle, and they were fined 1 million francs CFA. Then the match Stade Renard versus Colombe, that ended halfway due to squabbles with the referee. You notice that match ended halfway. There was some issue at the game, so the match didn't finish completely. But that notwithstanding, Fecafoot fined Stade Renard 1 million francs CFA. Then Bamboutus of Buda was also absent for their match against Fauve Azur, and they were reduced 3 points, and they were fined 1 million francs CFA. Fecafoot has also found FAP, Force Armée de Police, guilty for not paying her coach. Her coach, that's FAP, this FAP sport there, they have not paid their coach as they agreed they will pay him since for some period of time now. So they were fined 500,000 francs by Fecafoot, and they were imposed a transfer ban until full payments of about 3.270 million have been made to their coach. Yes, Yannick, like you were saying, the Indomitable Lions coach has called a 25-man squad that are going to come for a training session. They are going to play a friendly match against Uganda and Equatorial Guinea. These matches are scheduled for the 6th and the 9th respectively in Marrakesh. This list of players, there are 25 of them, but the main players that our national team coach called were Andre Onana, Christophe Aou, Michel Gado, Jackson Chachwa, Nuhu Tolo, Zambo Agisa, Carlos Baleba, Martin Hongla, Brian Bomo, and Mumi Ngamalu. So far, Yannick, that is how the world of sports was looking like this morning.
Right, very interesting pieces there, and I tell you, a lot to grapple with in the world of sport. It appears the sport machinery in Cameroon is grinding in a very turbulent, I should say, in a very roller coaster ride in the country. Lots of controversies springing up here and there, from Elite 1 Championship to the national or the professional league. From the regional league right up to the professional league. Yes. We're having a lot of controversies there.
A lot of it.
It's quite unfortunate.
What really baffles me is the treatment of officials, referees. Referees, they are really like the official controllers of the game. So if referees are not handled properly, if they are not paid their dues, you see they keep entering into negotiations with club presidents. Rich club presidents are using them for their advantage, and cheating is going on during the games, match fixing and things like that, and this causes a lot of commotion. Like we see what happened with Victoria United when they were playing against
Cotonsport
Garwa in Limbe.
No, we cannot associate that. Please, I would not like us to associate that to the issues of arbitration in the country. That arbitration with the issues of referees flaring their anger over non-payment of their entitlements. Yes, we cannot say that motivated the action in the Cotonsport against Victoria United. I don't want us to really delve into that, which is not appropriate. But however be the case, it is very glaring that a lot of controversies happen in early World Championship. I think that on the last day of our program in the month of May, we're going to look at some of those controversies.
Yes,
a lot of them. Yes, and also the fact that Etofis has hands off any salary or what again?
Dues,
anything.
Advantages.
He says that he's not going to take anything. This is the first of its kind.
Yes.
Let's see how that's going to play out in solving the myriad of financial challenges working Fika Foods.
Yes.
But JP, you have used your time so dear for the. Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming.
very much, Yannick.
We'll see you again on Friday.
Thank you very much, and happy Feast of Ascension.
In advance.
Christians in advance.
Yes, in advance. Of course, tomorrow we are celebrating the Feast of Ascension. Thank you so much. Do have yourself a wonderful day. Okay, dear viewers, if you're just tuning in, you're on to Salve Vicinus. It is coming to you live from DMR TV. And right about now, we're going to treat you to the PG News, because Kenja Man is already standing by to tell us what is making news in the world of our vernacular, I should say, lingua franca, Pidgin, the language that is most common among everybody and we can easily relate to. So Kenjaman is going to break down for us the news in the Pidgin English language and make us understand it so well. So we welcome Kenjaman into the studio, but before he gets to say anything, I just want to extend Salve Vicinus to those of you watching us from the east region of the country. We're extending special greetings to all of you. We're also extending special greetings to those of you watching us around Bafia, here in the southwest region, around the Moyuka subdivision. We're extending special greetings to all of you watching us this morning. So, Kenjaman is ready. Oga, come good. This one you don't move pen. I shall say you want to write something.
You know, say
no sign document.
You know, say to report it. So there are power this.
I tell you, no sign document. I beg.
That to report power this.
Yes.
Because they used to talk, say if you meet a Tory man, you know, he asks you pen, you know, give pen. It means say that Tory man is so you don't miss the career.
Suspecting. Yes, pen are very important. We all get our pen them around we here.
Yeah, very important.
Very, very important. I hope AI know will take our pen. Okay, so without much ado, we'll go straight away to the machine to have the transitional imperative. When we come back, we treat you to the news in Pidgin English.
Special salute once again as una take hear am from staffman Yannick Funky. Na the moment this for we accept for take bring tori for una for Pidgin language. Straight away send story for this sharp morning time. Na Dr. Shoes for that side for Newtown Limbe, which Dr. Trophy send story say it is so they know they find black goat for night. They know they find black goat for night. You know what I know? Night fair dark and then they go to fair black. Dark plus black equals to black dark square. So now way we say Musana for Namuna take yeram how it take pass for that side. Straight away we start with Tori for this sharp morning time as una equally know ram when una see Kenjaman, so it means say Tori na light refreshment. That's Pidgin News Flash, and for 2 p.m. we'll bring Tori in greater details. Straight away we start Tori for the morning time now for that side for inside Kumbu Diocese for Northwest Region, which to take past the Chief Shepherd, the Chief Ngananko for Kumbu Diocese, His Lordship Bishop George Nku, Naida so na take siam so for tele, which happen if you go work out the Christian population for that side for Bu Pastoral Zone. Bu Pastoral Zone where it dey for inside Kumbu Diocese, and which happen during the Bobo Waka ceremony for Holy Mass. It be happen where the Christian population they be glad plenty for welcome their chief shepherd for their pastoral zone. Sabi say plenty of them as we tell una they do the see bishop na for tele, there is see bishop na for drawing, and so they be see physically as it takes them so for this part of our contribute them. And during the ceremony, of course, His Lordship Bishop George Nku, he be equally lancé sacrament of confirmation for Christian them where they be prepare themselves for receive this sacrament as they take some country people them. For 2 p.m. we na hear more how the pastoral visit for Bu Pastoral Zone for Kumbu Diocese, how it be take pass for that side country people them. For 2 p.m. no miss am. You could hear more, you could sabi more for that palaver. We leave that chapter, we enter for obituary, contribute matter for cry die, as when I take siam, what happen just now, water eternal plenty for Christian population. For that side for Ash, that's what Bamenda, this man when they siam so, na Monsignor Clement that Monsignor Clement, we na one of the Monsignor them for inside Ash, that's what Bamenda. Yesterday, God, he be calling for a king country for heaven. The image of the see for tele now images them for last year, August 2024, where Papa Bishop Adaso Boya and Archbishop Bamenda Archdiocese, they be go waka Monsignor Clemens for that side for Ngongam, for inside Bamenda side for Father their retirement house where he takes them so he be die yesterday for around 7:30 a.m. For that side for Ash, that's what Bamenda contribute them. So may the soul of late Monsignor Clemens rest in perfect peace. For 2 p.m. when I will see the communique, the big book, when I accept the chancellor for Ash, that's what Bamenda is sign them for that obituary. We come on leave that chapter, we will stop by just now. We enter for next story for this sharp morning time. And now for inside Bongo Square, or you call it say Independence Square for Boya year, where to take pass NASLA, where to be NASLA, National School of Local Administration, where to take pass, they be graduate pioneer student them. It means they see where they create NASLA. Now the official graduation ceremony this happened yesterday for that side for inside Bongo Square as you see I'm so the Minister for Decentralization, Minister George Obam, he said na be the master ceremonial for the graduation ceremony where it take place as it takes them so. Sabi say these graduating students them they will work now for council them. Why not for other offices them for inside the country Cameroon? The governor of Salve John, the SG of Fako, said the mayor, chief them. They be there turn for witness this graduation ceremonial where it take place yesterday for inside Boya year. Remember say the office for decentralization it be there together with territorial administration. So government be slice them into two, give one for Ghana Tango, give one for Minister George Obam as it take place. So for 2 p.m. you will hear from the graduating student them where they be graduated yesterday for NASLA for inside Boya year. No miss am. You will hear more, you could sabi more. We take come on leave that chapter now. We saw the enter for next story. Now for terrible fatal ghastly motor accident where it happened along Douala Yaoundé Road yesterday as soon as I'm so coach put them. According to eyewitness, where he talk for talking stick for GMR TV, where he witnessed this terrible incident. 6 people them they sleep straight yesterday for this accident. So where the Siam coach put them according to the Tori, some Gongolo motor where he lost control, he jammed some bus as the Siam na the bus away white way or twist so as he jammed so other motor them since at the beginning of a bending corner. Other motor them just come the 4 on top the accident. 6 put them they be die for inside that accident. So contribute them where it be so sad, so terrible. For 2 p.m. when I could hear step from the eyewitness, he could narrate and for we how the accident do occur. So they how the state it did just now for that incident contribute them on behalf of Divine Mercy Radio Television with the extend sorry heart Asia for the people the way they lost their loved ones them for inside this accident so where it happened along Douala Yaoundé roads. We take leave that chapter with the enter still for another terrible accident as you see am so this one too now some gongolo motor where it lost control for that side for up station it be go down for downtown it be come up for down for come for southwest and then the regional commander that's Colonel Zambo, yes, Colonel Zambo Ngema, we na the regional commander for Kamambrudem for that side for Bamenda side. He used to say, "Be come up for upstation, they go down." And this Ngongolo moto, it be carry granite as my feet takes him so as he climb up so brakes it be fail for the motor and it be jam this colonel in motor colonel be die at the spot for this accident so when they see him contribute them. Members say less than 24 hours because yesterday and today 24 hours reach fine. 7 put them they don't sleep straight for road accident. We never even count the one the way we never report their cases them as you see him so contribute them. Members say this Ngongolo motor they so command job don't come out say they go with the pass now only for nights. We don't know what it happen where this Ngongolo motor them they pass for daytime where road it dey busy as it takes them so big die it dey for a big compound for Ikelebe them Kamambru them near them for that side for Bamenda side as na the Colonel Zambo Ngema that una dey see am for tele so coach put them the legion commander for that side for Bamenda side for northwest region. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen and amen. Mu jam tori for that side for OIC Cameroon. Nowadays we enter just now which it take pass coach put them TACNDEF 2.0 which it take pass they be equally there for OIC yesterday. We don't know OIC no. OIC we there for great support for Boyaye. This TACNDEF 0 or 2.0 they be equally come for OIC yesterday for come train the staff them. Why not the students them for how to transform good from agriculture to where we stay for equally sell them for outside contribute them. And during this seminar which it take place the country director for TACNDEF 2.0 he said he be talk for talking stick for Divine Mercy Radio Television as the full meaning for TACNDEF now equally with transforming Africa Agricultural University to meaningful contribute to African growth as it take part so contribute them. So these staff them teacher them for this OIC themselves they be learn yesterday for see how they fit transfer the knowledge them where they gather them for this seminar to the students them especially the department for agriculture. TACNDEF they so the headquarter it then for Kenya and for inside Cameroon here na Yuba University of Bamenda where they work with them. So as they did for Cameroon for University of Boya for University of Bamenda na way then too they say may they extend this knowledge for other vocational schools them. Why not other universities them as it take part for 2 p.m. you will hear more for the country's director as well as the director for OIC concerning this capacity building where it take part yesterday for that side for OIC. All right, we leave and so for this sharp morning time. Why for 2 p.m. Tori you could answer present in greater details. One day we will sound at the morning time we not hear am more. One day we never sound am we not say we not that's so hear am. That's all for 2 p.m. only for inside Divine Mercy Radio Television. That's all for 2 p.m. contribute them.
All right, thank you so much, Luan Valentine, for treating us to morning news cast in the Pidgin English language. Of course, we're going to have the full cast at 2 p.m. like he's indicated. All right, without much ado, I think straight away we go to the our birthday page. Straight away we go to our birthday page. We have a series of persons to celebrate birthday today, beginning with Clarice Dinge. So if you're ready, please, can we have the jingle for birthday and have it? Okay, that is Clarice Dinge. She is the CEO of Better Things. Vicinus. That is a social media platform that, of course, provides news online. Clarice Dinge, happy birthday to you, and may you find favor in the Lord. May all your endeavors get the brightness that it deserves. Clarice Dinge, as you celebrate your birthday today, CEO Better Things. Happy birthday to you, Clarice, and continue. May God continue to bless you in all that you put your hands into. From your mouth to God's ears, may the rest of your years be the best of your years. Away from Clarice to Delphine Masango. That's the next person we're celebrating today. Delphine Masango turns 1 today. Delphine Masango is a Cameroonian the researcher based in Germany. And of course, she's celebrating her birthday today. Delphine, happy birthday to you. May God continue to bless you. And may you continue to shine hope to many that you touch, and may you also have open doors in all your endeavors. All right, so away from Delphine, we move over to yet another person. Oh yes, we go over to the next person on our list. This time around, we go to Brandy. Can we have Brandy, please? Fwani Brandy is celebrating her birthday today. And of course, Fwani Brandy turns +1 today. Yes, that is her. Fwani Brandy, happy birthday to you. May God continue to bless you, Brandy. May God continue to open doors for you. And of course, may you find favor in everything you're doing, Brandy. Happy +1 to you today. We celebrate you today, Brandy. Happy birthday to you. Of course, we wrap up our birthday today with Ebod Raisa. Raisa, yes, Ebod Raisa is a person we're celebrating today. Ebod Raisa is +1 today. Happy birthday to you, Raisa. May God continue to bless you richly, richly. Please, on this new day for you, on this new year, on this new chapter in your life, may you continue to touch lives differently, and may you continue to find favor in the hands of God. All of you celebrating birthday today also want to say happy birthday to you. Quite a good number of persons celebrating birthday today. We cannot celebrate everybody, but in a collective response, in a collective wish, we are extending best wishes to all of you celebrating your birthday today. Today is May 28th, and we know that those who are born on May 28th are very, very important persons in the society. So we're extending special greetings to all of you and special birthday wishes to all of you. Okay, dear viewers, we are slowly but steadily wrapping up here. Semsiatu is still with us, and we're going to wrap up with you, Semsiatu. All right, so what special message do you have to the public out there with regards to treating menstrual hygiene situation?
Okay, yes. Thank you, sir. What I will have to say, especially to the young ladies, is that they should maintain menstrual hygiene. That is, they should be very careful. Especially, I mentioned lastly that women should be very careful the way they dispose their parts after using them. After using their part, they should be very careful, because there are a lot of bad things that are happening now. We have a lot of ritualists and a lot of bad people using such things to become rich. So we should be very careful. So we should be very careful, and we should dispose our parts properly and in a hygienic way.
And
so,
of course, we should also use there are so many kinds of parts making ways now. Let's use the proper one.
Yeah,
I think they say the cotton part is the best.
Yeah, it's the best because it's very comfortable.
It's comfortable.
And other people use reusable parts, which is not bad unless you know how to take care of it. You have to be very, very vigilant and very careful when you're using reusable parts, because if you use it the wrong way, it might instead cause a lot of problems to you. So we should be very, very clean as women during our menstrual period for a better health and a better way of life.
So they say together for a what?
For a what?
Together for a more for what period day? together for a happy period day. That's a celebration we're having this year for the World Menstrual Day, celebrated every May 28th. And of course, with you, Sam Seattle. All right.
Yeah.
So you're a gender-based actor, and of course, you're also coming from Cindy Bless
Foundation.
Extend our greetings to Cynthia, the physically challenged who is changing the world differently. All right, so dear viewers, it is on this note we are going to place a cap on today's edition of the program Salve, Vicinus. It's been a heavy package we brought to you since 7 a.m. and of course we are telling you tomorrow is going to be another very special package. You definitely want to be with us again tomorrow 7 a.m. because we'll have a huge package for you. My name is Yannick Funky in Delhi, and I was joined technically by brother Tassan Ambrose, who mounted the broadcasting and transmission. Together with all the presenters of the program, we are wishing you a fruitful and profitable day. Happy Wednesday. Salve, Vicinus.